Hello, everybody. Thank you for your patience. Sorry about that. Maya and I were trying to figure out this absurd thing that believe they call it the internet. It's a huge pain, but I am one of your hosts with a reverb. You can hear my voice now. This is Ryan Gutierrez, and I'm here with Gross Girl. Gross Girl, say hi to the kids at home.
Hello.
Thank you guys for hanging out while we figured it out. For some reason, what we wanted to do, guys, was a split screen with her and me both working on your images like in tandem. But instead, what you're going to get is us taking turns kind of tag teaming it, I guess, and I'm going to drop it into my Clip Studio. Although Gigi is also streaming at the same time, so you can still see some of it.
Oh, no, I'm not. I probably should, though. Huh?
Oh, I thought you were. No, it's okay. I actually thought you were streaming too, but I'm happy to be the only one streaming. I don't care. I'll do it.
More views for you. Yeah, I'm kind of in the midst of like redoing a lot of my stream stuff, and so I'm putting it off until I get it all looking nice again.
Oh yeah, because you have. I mean, you have like one of the more elaborate stream setups I've seen. It's pretty cool. She's got like a moving animation head. What's it called? Those. God, I'm such a boomer. Oh, those yeah. Go ahead. Describe it to me.
PNG tuber.
Yeah.
Essentially, I made a little GIF. I made a couple of GIFs of this little gator avatar, either talking or sitting and doing nothing and drawing. And so there's a program I've been using where when I speak, it'll register a volume, and at a certain point, it'll just switch between the two GIFs. So it looks like my little gator guy is just kind of yapping. Mm-hmm. But I need to kind of rework both my physical space is chaotic, and I'm trying to like move my computer around to find a new spot for it. And then also I want a new PNG tuber or none. I haven't decided yet. And I want to rework it a little bit. So things are a little chaotic right now. So I'm not going to stream till I get that done. And also when I'm caught up on work, because I feel bad streaming when I'm working if it looks like it's not where I should be. I don't know. I want to be caught up.
So you only stream when you have the prettiest work, is what you're saying? You're like those people that only go to the gym when they're in shape.
Oh, come on now. No, I struggle with focus pretty badly, and I'm trying to catch up on working. And if I have a stream going and there's a chat running, I'm gonna look at the chat and doodle and shoot the shit. I'm not gonna be doing the work I need. That's not entirely true. I'm not being very kind to myself right now because I do focus when I'm streaming. But there's a degree of oh no, what if people see and know somehow that I'm behind on my work? I need to catch up. I need to be where I'm supposed to be, and then I can do it, and then it'll be fine. I'm trying to break out of that mindset, but in order to do that, I need to be physically more comfortable. So I'm not there yet. I'm almost there. Well,
as you're talking, I am quickly uploading all the pages from all the different submissions. So we'll be ready in a second, guys. We got a good handful. Man, we got a lot of people that want to have me rip their work up.
Destroyed.
No, we're both very nice people, and we're going to be very nice, except for, if one of us gets hungry, if we get the hangry, we're going to suddenly become like the most abstruse art critics ever. We're going to just rip your shit apart.
It's going to be like watching two rabid dogs fighting over a bone.
Yeah, exactly. Which is how most of my dinners look. Just.
Oh, poor Malka.
Yeah, it's
a bear walks into the kitchen, destroys the table, and leaves.
It's hard to watch, and I'm hard to feed, so there's a lot of difficulty all around. All right, let's see. We got. Who do I want to start with? All right.
I think we should go in order of posting. So it looks like, unless you've got a different order you want to do.
Well, I'm looking at them now. I think. Mr. Madara was the first one to submit, so we're going to start with him.
Okay, sounds good.
So you have it from the Discord, right, Gigi?
Yeah, I've got the Discord up right now.
So Madara submitted like 150,000 drawings. He submitted everything he ever drew. So I am quite focused on this Wolverine in profile that he did.
The head?
Yes, the head, the bust that he drew.
Okay.
So, now, do you want to go first and tell me what you think of it, and then, or should I start?
I think you should start, because that'll give me some time to draw out my thoughts while you guys are talking, and then I can send it.
Good, because I've already thought heavily about it. I sat by a lake. I fed some pigeons. I watched the rain tap against my window while thinking about this drawing.
He saw a family playing in the park nearby, and he stared longingly.
I pushed an empty swing on an autumn day. All right, so Madara, here's something I've noticed about your work. I love the passion, and I love that I can tell you're thinking about color. So if you look at this, guys, he's got the orange to yellow transition there. Like it looks like you're using markers, which I love markers. I think that's like a totally legit way, especially to work on pen and ink drawings. Markers are great. That's the best part. I think the blue is really strong. I think you're clearly working in multiple blue tones. I think you're looking at whoever you're looking at, you're getting some good sense of color. Especially with markers, because markers are very like two-tone, and like there's a kind of wonderful simplicity to how they work. You can make them as complicated as you want. The thing I think you should work on, based on the drawings of yours I've seen, I say this as someone who, similar to you, adores superheroes and costumes and grew up looking at that stuff. Something that you're kind of that you're dealing with here is hold on, I think someone wants to join in the Google chat. Is that Dan?
Hello.
Yeah.
That's me.
Oh my goodness, Dan. Can you up your mic a little bit? I want to hear those mumbles.
Oh my god, let me see if I can. How do I do it? Keep critiquing. I'll figure it out.
Okay,
somehow.
you're starting to sound a little better, but I think it might just be because the rage is rising in your voice.
Yes, it could be that. It is true. Gross Girl, could you send me a link to the stream, please?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Gotcha.
Thank you.
And also, guys, let me know if the jazz in the background is too loud. I'll get rid of it so we can hear more of Dan's grumbling.
Oh my goodness.
So in the chat of the Google chat, there it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so Madara, the thing I'm noticing is that you're used to drawing these characters in costume, which is understandable, but because of that, there's a gap a little bit in what you're thinking, in that, like, if you look at this Wolverine, the eye placement, it's like you're thinking about where the eye goes on the cowl and not where the eye would go on his head. So the big recommendation I have for you, not just with this drawing or this goal you have, but with all of your drawings, superheroes are great, and I think one of the things that makes them fun is that the artists who draw them typically are really good with anatomy. And it doesn't necessarily mean realistic anatomy, even just stylized anatomy, but a big part of it is anatomy, because you're communicating a lot about a character based on like muscle and how they sit. So like you have this thin neck on Wolverine, the eye placement's a little off, and I think that's because you're drawing it from the costume instead of drawing it from structure first. So I'm going to do a quick sketch over. I'm not going to go crazy with it because, I don't know that's what the people want. But I would say to start by drawing the face underneath. So you see the eye is, what you have is what they call a composite eye, meaning it's actually from the side that you're drawing the eye, but instead of looking forward, it looks to the side, almost like his eyes on the side of his head, which is what a lot of ancient Egyptian art looks like. They have the composite eyes because they were all reptilians, and everybody knows that.
Yes.
Based, true. Yeah.
Based.
Can confirm.
So when you draw it here, I'm not even going to draw the cowl first. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Matt Rhodes approach. This artist that I really like, Matt Rhodes, no matter what he's working on, no matter how elaborate the costume, he draws the full anatomy underneath first. Even if all you see of the person is just like a leg coming out of a robe, he still draws the full anatomy. He goes, this is where the ear is going to be. This is where the neck is going to be. So now you can already see that the placement. Well, his chin is hilarious though. His chin is huge. He looks like Duke Nukem. Hold on. You see that? So then, the way that these muscles are going to sit in time, you see how much more meat there is on him when you focus. I mean, I know some of this is just you're going to get good at anatomy as you go, but once you figure out the skull shape, you see how you start to see the logic of it. Like the skull is in a different place than you thought. The neck, and then you lighten that, and over that, you can draw the costume, right? So then now you know exactly where the cowl is going to sit, right? And you have these, I like that you have the sideburns coming out, but I think because of how the structure is a little off, as a result, the way you have it, the sideburns almost looks like a part of the mask, or maybe you are doing it as a part of the mask. That works too. We can work with that, right? So, oh, hold on. Let me just make sure this is, yeah, correct. There you go. So it helps to just focus on learning the structure underneath. And I know that for some people, especially if you're like really, really into comic books, it's like not fun in the beginning. It's not really fun to work on the anatomy because you're like, I just want to draw his goddamn claws. Like, I just want that, you know. But if you focus on understanding how the body is built first, it just like makes it so much more fun to put the costume on top of that, you see? But I want to know what the others think. Dan,
So,
Gigi?
let me just screen cap this and send it to you. But I'm in a similar vein. I'm looking at a different picture, but this is something that I've seen pop up in your art kind of a lot. And this is normal to be in this position where you're still like learning how to build up the shapes in 3D and trying to apply it to a 2-dimensional thing like paper. So let me just screen cap this. Oops, that's the wrong window. I am going to scream. Okay. So sending this over now. Ryan on your Discord. There's a sketch in here that you have. There's a page of sketches where I can see some of the ones where you're just sort of like thinking through the shapes and the foreshortening of a character holding up a gun. And fundamentally, I can see where you're thinking about these shapes, like where's the tube, where's the ball, where's the whatever. And obviously, when you're building up anatomy, there's all sorts of different kinds of methods to make it click in your head on how to approach it. So I'm breaking it down into primitive shapes here, so just cylinders and cubes and spheres, right? And being able to lay those in and commit to smoother line work. And what I mean by that is like, I can tell by the quality of your lines that you work really quickly, like physically quickly. Whether or not it takes you an hour to do something or not, time isn't as much of a thing, but the speed in which your hand is moving. And so that's why some of your lines end up being kind of hairy. Sometimes it's because you're building, which is partly why mine are, but I'm also working fast too. But if you slow down, physically slow down, build the line, commit to it slowly, and start with like your broader shapes first, and let them sort of stack like wood blocks or something. Then after that, you can start to get more organic with it. I'm not saying that you have to be as rigid as a square or a rectangle or whatever, but you want to think about these shapes overlapping and turning in space. So I know you do a lot of studies and things. I'd love to see you do studies of really, really like just shapes in space, and see how that affects like wax on style with the rest of your artwork. Because once it starts clicking for just a straw or a box, it'll start to click for arms and legs and torso and so forth.
Yeah, and so the image that Gigi's referencing, I brought it into Clip Studio so you guys can see what she's talking about. This looks like
it's cool.
One of Madara's drawings. So that's a really good note. And I would even say, like, going back to this Wolverine image, where is it? A good thing that you can do also is to isolate the silhouette. And if the silhouette doesn't look right, it means you probably need to adjust, some of your proportions. Like looking at this, it's like if you were to just take this image, right? Let me just isolate it. And you focus on the silhouette, you'll start seeing the problems where you're like, oh, his neck looks a little thin to be this guy, or I would even go. I can even just actually I can jump up and just make it all black in a different layer. And like you look at it and you're like, oh, you see how the proportions now it jumps out at you is like not looking like Wolverine as far as the head to neck ratio and all that. That's a really good way of like in the beginning of your anatomy seeing where you're off, because it's like even if you don't know the exact details of like how neck muscles work or how shoulder muscles sit on an athletic form, it's really good to do that because you'll just be like on a base level you can see what's not working, and then you could even just start adding mass to certain areas and then sort of sculpting the image over time, you know. But that's going to be years of work, you know. That's just, you be patient with it and don't be hard on yourself. But Dan, if you want to jump in, I don't want to talk over you.
Sure. So you got a lot of good feedback on your anatomy and on the way you're drawing it and on the head and how to do the costume and wrap it and all that stuff. I'm going to take my critique in a slightly different direction. I'm going to say, especially with superheroes and especially when you're doing portraits of superheroes, you want to follow what I'm going to make up on the spot as the PIP rule, PIP. Pose is personality. So you're drawing Wolverine. You got the expression right. He looks like an angry guy, but what's the pose doing to convey what that character is? Wolverine's a character who should always feel like he's flexing something because he can never relax. Like he's always angry. Even if he's standing still, he's grinding his teeth. Shoulders should be up. Like to this day, my favorite Wolverine is the Marvel vs. Capcom Wolverine because the entire animation he's in, even idle, everything's flexed, everything's tense, everything's bent. He's gritting his teeth. He always just wants to rip something apart. He just can't chill. And like very simple things with this could make it feel more like Wolverine, even without going into the technical stuff. Raising the shoulders, making it feel like he's tensing his muscles, making him gritting his teeth and clenching his jaw a bit more. You know, like you've got a really good expression in the face, but just push those things to the nines, make it feel like he's ready to, any minute he could explode, you know. He's always ready to just pull the pin in whatever situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, pose his personality.
That's a really good, especially for comics, pose his personality, because you know, is because based on like I've looked at a lot of Madara's stuff in the Discord, he's very, very into classic like American comic book fare, and it's like in that environment, subtlety really isn't your friend. It's like you want to announce who the character is every time they're on a page, you know? And so what Dan is saying, it's like, I mean, what Dan's saying you can find directly in How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, which is something I was going to recommend to everyone probably, is that it's one of the best books about drawing that was ever made. And for someone like you, Madara, with your interest and your particular focus on like classic American comic book, it's like it'll blow your. You might already have it, and you might already be looking at it, but really, it's something that'll just. If you really read it and absorb what they're saying about pose and about personality and about storytelling, it'll rock your socks off. It'll blow your ass off. You won't be able to sit down. And the last thing I'll say about that is that I also notice you do a lot of head and shoulder shots. And every now and then, Madara, I do see you doing some full body shots. I really want to encourage you to do more full body images because getting better at drawing like a full body pose and you know all that stuff, it's gonna make drawing heads and shoulders better. There's no aspect of your drawing that will not improve by drawing full figures and like getting comfortable drawing feet and hands and putting your character in a physical space instead of having them float in your sketchbook, you know, and that's fine to do that. But for someone who has a real interest in comics, a big part of the pose and a big part of the personality is imagining where the character is and what they're doing and being able to kind of communicate that, you know?
Am I correct in thinking that the artist who's drawing the Wolverine in this critique is looking at oh God, I can't. You know the artist better than I do, Ryan. Who's the pen and ink guy who does the cool little hatching? He did that run of Wolverine becoming Venom. You know what I'm talking about? He was one of the young guns in like 2008-ish.
Oh man.
Oh God, he's so good at hatching, and I can see a little bit of that in the forehead and in the shoulders, and I'm wondering if they're looking at that particular artist.
Are you thinking of like Liefeld or
No,
he's earlier, right? Yeah.
I can find an example of their work.
Well, Kobo says Jim Lee.
No, not Jim.
No, because Dan's talking about someone after that, like 2008. which is like
Yeah.
but is it someone like who comes from that school of drawing where it's like from the 90s kind of style that of Liefeld and Lee?
They were a 2000s artist. I can send you their work, and you might know who I'm talking
Sure,
about.
yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
You can just send it to me on Discord, and I'll bring it up.
Oh yeah, right. Discord.
Sharky
Right.
Sharky's asking if it's Frank Cho.
I don't think it's Frank
No.
Cho. I don't think it might be, but I don't think it's Frank Cho.
Frank Cho is more like he's almost like Adam Hughes. He's got like it's so realistic and it's beautiful.
Here you go, Ryan. I can't think of their name, and it's driving me crazy.
Maybe I'll know when I see it. You DM'd it on Discord?
Yeah, I just sent it.
I actually know who this is on site. This is
They're one of my favorite Marvel artists.
oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. It's driving me
I
crazy.
know, me too.
He also worked on Superman Rebirth.
Yes.
He was all over the early 2000s. Oh my goodness.
I'm wondering.
He's an Asian
who-
artist. He's Asian American.
Yes, he's incredible.
He's
And
really, really good.
he's really good at drawing like the tendons and the muscles, and like everything has little bits of hatching on it. He uses micron pens.
Yeah,
like,
and like lots of tension in his art. Okay, I'm gonna just.
Can we
oh,
share
wait.
with the class? Like, is there a link I can post up in the chat?
Yeah, here I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna forward it to you. Okay. And
I'm just wondering if that's who they're looking at, because that's a very good person to learn from.
I mean,
in terms of that shading technique.
seeing Madar, his work, it's like I think he's looking at everyone in Marvel ever because he's like clearly a huge fan of. I just sent it to you, Gigi.
Oh yes.
What is his
Okay.
name?
What is his name?
I know how to
Okay,
Google
you know
it.
what?
I know how to Google it. Hold
Where's-
on. Marvel.
Do it.
He worked on Marvel Infinity. Oh my god. I've been following this guy's work for like 20 years and I still am blanking on it somehow. It's driving me crazy.
Me too. I have so many of his comics.
I'm sorry guys. We've basically brought everything to a halt. Okay, he worked on Marvel Infinity. It's not Jim Chung. It's not Jerome Pena worked on that with him. So did Dustin Weaver. They're naming all the artists who worked on it. Who is this guy? This is making me insane.
I just posted the
Yeah.
image into the chat. Maybe somebody there was going to recognize it.
Oh my god, I'm so annoyed because it feels like this is.
I'm so sorry I opened this can of worms.
This is going to bother you for the rest of the week if I don't figure it out now.
Close the door. Nobody leaves until we get it.
Very funny.
Nobody leaves. Nobody eats. Nobody sleeps until we. This is driving me. Why is his name not on the wiki? They have everyone in it except him.
It's all good. Everything is good.
Oh, why didn't I just Google Superman Rebirth artist? That's so.
We'll find it. We'll find it before the stream's over.
It's not Sam Keith.
No, has an Asian name.
Lionel Francis Yu.
Lionel
Lionel
Francis
Yu?
Yu. Yes,
Yes,
Lionel
Lionel
Francis
Yu.
Yu. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
There we go.
Oh,
Lionel Yu.
that was an
So
ordeal.
good.
That was an ordeal.
Oh, he's incredible. These are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody to study. This is fantastic.
He's got one of the best Wolverines.
His run on X-Men is absolutely incredible. He worked on a lot of. Dan's right. Like literally, like 2004, 2010 was like his time where he was just all over the place. And his run on X-Men, it's like every X-Men character, you can like feel the sweat in their veins. You know, it's just there's something about his drawing style it's like a mix of the late 90s moving into something a little more sophisticated. He's great. Yeah, he also does incredible watercolor paintings.
So rad.
But all right, does anyone have anything else they want to say about Madara now that we've all taken this big shit of remembering this artist?
Really great face.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to point out, like, just how delighted I've been watching him post up artwork in your chat. Because, like, it seems like very much a buffet of interests, and I think that's going to end up working in your favor for the future as you keep looking at different artists with completely different styles and things. Don't get too lost in that. Like, get your fundamentals in. But the more you do that, the more range you're going to be able to have over time. And I think it's pretty great.
Yeah. And I think the fact that you have really good, like your expressions are good. I like that there's a lot of personality in the art. And if you have that, you can build off that and do really almost anything. style, sophistication of the, anatomy, all that stuff you can build off of it. But there's a personality there, and that's cool. Anything you want to say, Dan?
Really great stuff. The personality in the face is fantastic. You're capturing the character, but just all the other little things, and you'd be in a good spot.
I'm going to send this back to you after the stream with my little Wolverine next to it, as a token of my gratitude for participating. All right, next we have. Why don't we do this? Sorry, go ahead. What were we going to say, Gigi?
Oh, I was going to say I think it was Guy who was the next person to post, but I want to see what you're going to say.
Oh, I was just going to this Punisher next. We can do. Actually, let's do this Punisher because I want to hear you guys talk first about this one.
Okay.
Because I'm like not quite sure. I do have some notes, but I want to hear what you guys say because I'm very like my bias is heavily toward like comic art, like line art. But as someone who's like a career painter like Dan, I would love to hear his thoughts on this.
So I do want to point out that this is it's a work in progress that he's doing as a study or an interpretation of an existing art piece. And if he could, I think he posted it in the Discord at some point. I'm gonna see if I can find it so that we can make that comparison and like talk about what works, what doesn't work, what changes he's making, that kind of thing. So I'll do that. You guys do your thing. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, Dan, I believe I put you on the spot already, so.
It's all good. I'm on the stream, which might be behind. Let me go forward and see if the art is. Oh, there it is. Okay, I can see it. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so was Gross Girl saying this is a Punisher cover that already exists? They're doing an interpretation of?
Yeah, they're like kind of redrawing it in their own style, but it's not complete yet. So. Oh,
that's cool. Okay. So the immediate, the boring critique that you have to give is always going to be the anatomy and the proportion stuff. So those arms, especially the arm coming towards us holding that gun, is going to be way bigger. Either that or the easy way to fix it is to just make the head a little smaller. And that'll automatically make them feel bigger. The hands are pretty well drawn. I mean, kudos to that. That's really good. The musculature looks good. The pose might be a little squished. The torso might need to be a little longer. I think most of the issues with that could be fixed with the head being shrunk down a bit. I think my big feedback on this would be all of the bullet energy, like the lines of where the bullets are passing by. They're all a little too horizontal, and it's kind of making a weird tangent thing where it's sort of dividing up the page, and bullet lines like that should feel very energetic and very chaotic, and they should feel very active. But because they're all kind of at the same angle and in the same area, it sort of feels tame. It almost feels like a Spider-Man web is kind of holding him in the trash can.
Yeah.
Instead of it being like bullet tracings.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I do really like, though, the bouncing casings making a halo around his head. That's a cool idea. That's a very cool idea. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I would work on I think really the big thing for me is the proportions, and too many straight lines that are either horizontal or perfectly vertical. Like if you did like a Dutch angle and like the bricks and the ladder were tilted a bit in the background, it would feel more like he's falling backwards. It would feel more like an action scene. But when you have a lot of straight, perpendicular, and horizontal lines, it tends to flatten things, and flattening things makes them feel more relaxed.
Yeah.
And you don't want it to feel relaxed when it's like a hail of gunfire. But almost all of that could be fixed literally just by free transforming and tilting it on its axis.
Yeah. I think that's really good feedback. I agree with Dan. I think you want a little bit less structure, because right now you have the brick wall behind him and you have the cityscape behind him, which forms a lot of structure. So the lines that are insinuating the action, you want a little more. You want a little more mess. I agree with Dan also about your halo of bullets and how it's like directing the eye toward his face, like, hey, look over here. And it almost kind of works in a way that like communicates like sweat beads coming off of him, which is pretty cool. As you guys can see, I'm redrawing it, aspects of it, just showing what it looks like with a smaller head. The problem with that, though, that now it's like he's taking up less space, so you kind of want to make him bigger, I guess. I mean, but at some point, I'm also like, you end up critiquing the original art it's based on.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But it's
I haven't seen that original art yet.
yeah,
by the way.
it looks.
Oh,
It looks
I
familiar
sent it
to
on
me.
Discord.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, cool. Let me
Casey.
take a look.
There's something about it that looks very like Adam Kubert.
It's
Kubert.
very Doom, like early Doom.
Oh, okay. This is very similar.
Yeah. Is it Kubert? Who's the artist? Because it has like because Kubert and like a lot of his art, it's like very strict lines. It's like everything that kind of exists in these like really hard 90-degree angles.
It might be him.
But
This is it's an interesting piece.
But yeah, I agree with that. I would also say, looking now at the original image, it's like I don't know what your plan is for the continuation of it. Are you going to paint the whole thing, or is this going to be a piece of black and white art with color? Because I don't know what the intention is, but I would say this is a piece that also you can't be afraid to raise the contrast. Like you have this really dramatic light source, which is the bullets, right? The firing of the gun. So like I'm going to draw directly over so you can see what I'm talking about. Like, don't be afraid to give him really dramatic shadows and because the light, have you ever seen a gun fired in a dark alley at night? I mean, I I have personally.
It's so ominous.
Yeah. The last person to piss me off, his name was Ryan Gutierrez, and he was never seen again.
Oh my goodness.
Doppelganger.
Not that.
So if you look at these comics that you're, clearly you're inspired and motivated by, like the way they use shadow and light source, it's crazy. Like they'll have an entire light source coming from just this area, and then a lot of this stuff would probably be in shadow, and then you can even have the shadow interrupted in some places. I mean, this looks like shit what I'm drawing right now, but
It doesn't look like shit.
It was just what I'm doing. I'm just like I'm being so messy that I think I'm actually communicating the wrong thing. Is what I'm saying.
I love in the original art that he is screaming so hard. It looks like he's standing behind a hoverboat like motor with his mouth. It's like a wind tunnel, like the ripples in the skin of the mouth screaming and the eyes. I feel like if you're gonna take anything away from studying that original piece, looking at it now, I think the biggest thing you want to focus on is energy. Like it feels like everything on this is being like blasted with like a wind fan or something. Like he's flying backwards. The bullets and the chasings of the bullets have like this weight that's pushing it. I still think what I said earlier about too many horizontal lines cutting through the canvas applies even to the original. But obviously he was leaving space for the title at the top where it's going to say Punisher. I get that. But I think the big thing you want to take away is the energy, the way that the muzzle flash of the guns is exploding out, and like the satisfying diagonal lines, how they widen as they come towards the edge of the page. Like they're moving forward, they're approaching. Similarly with him falling backwards and the expression in his face, everything is just like you can feel the shock of all the muscle in the skin vibrating back. Everything's tense in the forehead, pushing down. Everything is super, super focused. I would say like in a weird way, like every line on the face is pushing down into the nose where the eyes meet.
Yeah.
It's all kind of like tensioning there, like a target. But yeah, no, as if you're going to pull anything from this, from studying it, besides obvious things like anatomy, composition, just the energy. The image feels, I mean this in the nicest possible way. It feels like one of those old video game magazine like splash pieces where they just want you to feel like you got punched in the face. Like you turn the page and it's like, boom, here's this thing.
Yeah.
Crazy shit's happening. It's airbrushed. It's everything is to the maximum.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the best thing you could take away from it.
Yeah, I agree. And whose art is this, by the way? Is it, do we know who this is?
It says Zimmelman at the bottom.
Okay, hey Zimmelman. So even though, like I said, my sketch over is really bad and doesn't, I'm trying to communicate like a basic idea of how you can use shadow to make
It's
it more.
Lone Wolf.
Yeah, it's Lone Wolf. Okay. Oh yeah, no, actually I should have known that because this looks like his work. He's got a pretty recognizable style.
Mm-hmm.
He does tend to draw heads a little larger than I think he means to. So this is like a continuing feedback for Lone Wolf is to be mindful of your head to body proportions. Although it's possible that this is what it's like in the original art, and you want to. But yeah, so as I was saying, even though my like I said, my ink over has like it's horrific. I really, it is a little bit.
These
It's
adjectives.
oh, I'm full of them. I got so
It's
many.
edgy, okay. It's stylized. This is your favorite
There we
way.
go. Yes.
It's incendiary. So
There we
like
go.
the if you look at like even like little things, and I know that you're not done yet, so I don't want to give you premature notes, but like as you're going, like you got this great light source you have set up here, and really exploit that. Like you could have it reflected in his eyes, and you see how I added this little thing in the eyes, and it's like, you know, if the Punisher has this kind of rage, it's like you want to communicate that with the contrast. And even like when you get into the colors, because you know I'm going to comment on the colors because clearly you're in the middle of a coloring phase as well as a liner. I don't know where you are, like what your process is, but like you have this very even color tone right now. And if I were you, I mean, I know maybe you're trying to emulate the exact image, but if you can, I would be like, you know, taking this area, everything that's in the foreground that is illuminated by the pop of the bullets, you can make it like really, really warm, you know, and like, you know, and then in contrast, everything behind him, you can give it a really strong bluish tone to, like, you know, because blue and orange are like the best contrast you'll get in anywhere.
Really.
You know, and this is like not exactly what I imagined, but you know, this is essentially. You see how it kind of makes him pop a little bit. It's like you don't want the color tones to be too even because you don't owe reality anything. Like you don't owe reality any real depiction. You can kind of do whatever you want. And something Steven Zapata.
Like that blue. Like that
Yeah,
blue.
I do too. That's nice.
Well, this is like a trick I use constantly. That's why it's my go-to. Because like
It's the Dark Knight DVD cover trick.
yeah,
It is
Orange blue.
like every movie poster for like.
It works. Hey, it works for a reason.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, Black Mirror. If you look at Black Mirror, it's like every page is like, oh, let's put a warm thing behind this character who's all like, you know. But yeah, when you get there, when you get this effect, you realize how forgiving things can be. And like something Steven Zapata said when I was talking to him, which I loved, he was like, color almost doesn't matter. Like the color is purely emotional. Like Frank Frazetta's paintings, like his colors make no freaking sense. He's got like people have blue skin with green highlights, and yet it still reads like skin. And it's just because it's emotional and it's more about how you place the figures. And if you can communicate a fleshiness in whatever way you want, it'll work. So just keep that in mind when you do colors. Like I said, you don't owe reality anything. You don't have to depict it exactly as it might look. You can exaggerate, you know, because it's like, and this is the last metaphor I'm going to use, I promise. But it's like the thing I always say when drawing comics is that it's like if you have, you know, those old black and white movies like Nosferatu, where the actors are all wearing crazy makeup and all of their expressions are really over the top. It's because that was left over from theater. And there was this idea that you had to make everything really, you know, over the top to communicate the facial expressions and emotion to the people all the way in the back of the stage. And so even though it's really non-reality the way they're acting, it comes across as reality because that has to cross the distance to hit that guy in the back of the stage. And comic art does the exact same thing. It doesn't have to be super realistic. It has to communicate something real so that the people who are all the way on the other side of that page, who are separated from this other world in the comic, they can kind of feel like it's real. And it feels real even though it's coming in this weird package, if that makes any sense. Is that yeah.
It makes
Totally
sense.
makes sense.
So
I'll go ahead, Gross Bro.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I don't really personally have a whole lot to add to what you guys have said, just because you hit all the same points I was gonna bring up. The one thing that I do want to point out is the major difference between this piece and the one that he's studying is that the one he's studying was done traditionally, and I'm like, I could probably venture to guess that he toned the whole canvas before going in and painting. And that's one thing I've seen Lone Wolf, you've done a few times already, is that you start on white and you block in the intended color, and that's going to help. Like, if you tone it first with something, that'll help you achieve the very thing that Ryan is pointing out here just earlier on, because then you're not just comparing it all to white, and you're not just comparing it all to black, because when you do that, you're comparing everything to the lightest and darkest tone you have at the saturation that it's at. And it gets to be difficult to make choices that are a bit more nuanced or a little bit more friendly with each other or whatever. But if you tone the paper, you can start to play a little bit more
Mhm.
because you're trying to trick the eye into a particular element.
Yeah, working from the middle versus working from the extremes.
Mm.
One thing I will say, one last critique, it's a fundamental critique, so it's going to be boring. I apologize. But looking at the piece that you're studying from, one thing, we talked about the head probably being too big. But the thing about the head is you're falling into a trap that a lot of people that are studying anatomy and facial expressions fall into, where each element of the face is drawn well and about the right size and proportion it should be, but the placement is remaining static. The human face is a very squishy thing, and depending on how far you push the emotions, your eyes can come way down, your nose can go way up, your mouth can do all kinds of crazy things. And if you're looking at the reference picture, his mouth is so far up that his lips are actually snarling like he's an animal, and you're seeing the gums above the teeth, and it's moving all the muscle up, and his eyes are like, his head's tilted back slightly, but his eyes are coming way down. And I would say that part of the reason why your head feels a little too tall is because each element is where it would be if your head was at rest and a person was just looking at you. The mouth is the appropriate distance below the nose, the eyes are the appropriate distance above the nostrils. But when you're making this extreme emotion and you're really flexing the hell out of everything, especially tilted backwards, all those elements are going to come way closer together. Your eyes are going to come down, your mouth's going to come up. It's going to compress everything and make it feel a little bit tighter because you're tightening all those muscles. But yeah, I would look at that. Also, like, just relative shapes and placements of things. Like in the reference image, part of the reason it works is because the guns are above, or at least the front gun is above the head. Like it's all following this perspective line. Like just look for little markers like that. Okay, what's the highest thing on the canvas? It's that gun. So I know that the head has to be below that. And then you can kind of self-correct the drawing process from there.
Yeah. That's a really good note. And even if you look at the, I'm looking at the original now, and I really like it. It's very like, it feels like exactly like one of those paintings you find on like an old Game Boy.
Yeah.
It's really, it like makes me nostalgic for old video games. It's so cool.
Did this guy do like Shadows of the Empire art?
I was just wondering that.
This feels like Dash Rendar. Like it really does. It feels like that era.
It's great. It's got like a kind of velvety texture to it that I really like.
Yeah.
Michael Zeck?
Oh, it says on the bottom. It's Zimmelman.
I think that's the website that I
Oh,
found
sorry.
it on.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
But the last thing I'll say, if you look at the see how reactive the light is from the guns, like the I mean, and maybe you were planning to do this already, but if you look at like the way that the shell casings around his face are actually catching the light from the bullets, from the firing of the the combustion, whatever you want to call it. There's like a glint on it that is very subtle, but it's helping because each of those glints forms a little line, and each of those lines directs you toward his face.
Oh yeah, that's cool. It's really cool.
It's really cool.
It's like what do they call it in Gurney's book? Spoke wheeling?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, so it's Mike Zeck. The website I found it on has more of his work on it, and he's also another person to study because like a lot of the stuff in here is just very dynamic and really organic, like definitely of its era. It's pretty cool.
That's really
I'll share
cool.
it in the chat too.
I love it. I mean, honestly, this stuff to me is as beautiful as like anything coming out now. That's my weird
I
bias.
love how much attention he gave to trash in the trash can.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
It's so unnecessary and awesome.
But that's some great like 90s like post cyberpunk, grunge like everything in the trash cans got like green and red. It's all like, old pizza.
Well, everything on the streets is dirty and the only thing clean on the canvas is his guns. They represent cleaning up the street.
streets.
Wow.
Yeah, everything's grimy.
Listening to Dan talk that way has got me shitting diamond hard boners.
Actually, just a quick aside to anybody in the chat who's looking to study more comic book stuff too, the website I just posted, he shares some of his pencil work, and that would be worth doing studies over top of. Just try to see what happens if you ink his work, because it's all very clean. It's very, very clean.
Yeah, that's a good note. Cool. All right. So who do we got next? What do you think? We should get to Guy, right? Here he is.
Sure. I already mocked up my thoughts, so I think we start there.
Please do it.
So I specifically looked at the one with the first one that he posted with the character who's kind of holding his hand around his eye with the glass kind of around.
Yeah, that's the one I have up.
Cool. Okay.
Okay.
I have very, very simple notes. And Ryan, if you look on Discord, I sent it. You just need to push it. The contrast gets a little bit too similar throughout the whole thing. There's a lot of detail, so it gets very muddled up in spots. But if you were to add more contrast, so get darker in spots, get greener in areas, I can see where you're kind of letting it peek through here and there, but it could really push it. Ryan, could you pull up the thing I sent?
Yeah, I'm gonna Harold, I'm gonna pull it up. Give me 1 second. I gotta screen cap it. I'll be right with you.
No worries. But like looking at the other two that you posted there too, it's kind of the same. They're both excellent pieces. They're really, really good. They're dynamic. They're interesting. They're, I don't know, they have a flavor. Something like a fruit by the foot. Like it's just really good work. So it's at that point where any critique we have is going to be a lot more nuanced, because you not only can you draw and paint really well, but you have an eye and a style and all these other things. So it's all just about pushing it in a direction that supports what your vision is. And a bit darker would be maybe better, particularly around his butt.
Yeah, I have it up now so people can see the color differences you're talking about.
Oh, I must be behind. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. There's always a delay in the stream, but I see the note you're giving. Yeah, because you need some. You also need some color differentiation sometimes to generate like visual interest, and it kind of goes back to what we were saying about how, especially with a piece like this, colors don't really have to be logical.
No. Is so I'm not super familiar with the character. Is he shattering something, or is that just energy, or what is it?
I'm not super sure either, but I
don't think
with
guys
the
in the chat.
pieces he was he is.
Is it broken glass?
I thought it was broken glass.
Okay, yeah. My critique's probably going to be the same, even if it's not broken glass. There's a couple. Okay, so my big thing, we talked about levels, we talked about colors. My big thing is going to be when you have an image this active, you have to be extra careful for accidental tangents, and there are a few. So the most common form of tangent is what's called the shared line tangent. There's a few, and they're always implied. Usually they're not intentional, but when things line up with each other a little too naturally, the most obvious one is the top line of that leg and the bottom line of the hem of his coat. They're basically sharing a perfect parallel, and then on top of that there's a shattered piece of glass that's almost perfectly in line with them right there. It tapers a little bit as it rises, but it's very similar. Rotating that glass down so it crops the leg will help a lot. Moving the leg down into the left to open up that negative space under the coat and showing a little more shadow there would help. Or, I mean, this is advice I got forever ago from Keikai Kataki. His whole thing was visual tension is sexual tension. So his advice was always, sometimes you have to put the P in the V. So basically what he's saying is you have to overlap things. When things are sharing an edge, one has to go on top and one has to go underneath. Because if you don't, they're just right up against each other, and you're just like, why isn't one of them on top of the other one? What's going on? It's very tensiony, and it makes this weird, unnatural feeling. We instinctually want one of those things to crop in front of the other one and one to become the submissive. But no, you want to do that.
One of them's the bottom, yeah.
Yes, exactly. But the other thing I would say is my favorite piece of the shattered glass is the one all the way on the right-hand side of the canvas that's cropping off the canvas. All the other ones are kind of neatly inside the frame, and it feels very safe and contained, especially the biggest one down on the left in the middle. There's two things going on here. One is the point of it is just touching the frame, and it just feels too perfect. Like I would make it bigger and have it cropping off the frame like the one on the opposite side, because having just that little point just perfectly touch the frame, just a little too perfect. It kind of breaks the illusion. And then the second thing is it doesn't seem like any of this glass is transparent anywhere else. I'm assuming that blue shadow on that same piece I'm talking about isn't supposed to be the leg showing through underneath, but that shape of the blue is perfectly in line with the shape of the leg, and it's making another unimplied continuous line tangent. If it is supposed to be transparent, then I have to wonder why the glass everywhere else is not transparent. So I think the quickest fix is to change the line of that blue shadow so it's not perfectly in line with the leg.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with all of that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I would also say, from a compositional standpoint, it might be good. And this is we're getting a little more nitpicky with you, Guy, because obviously you're a little more established, and we all know that you know what you're doing. We were just we're going to be a little more focused on like little imperfections, or some of it also, when it gets to this point, it turns into like I have to make sure that I'm not giving advice that's just like how would I do it, because that doesn't mean that it's right. You know what I mean?
We got to needle you so we can feel better about ourselves.
Yeah, that's exactly what we brought. We brought you on here because we're insecure. So like looking at the composition, it's like I love a lot of the choices you made with the glass, like the colors here, like these like hot magentas and blues. And then you have these like this like color dodge thing you're doing here with the rim of the glass. It's got a ton of energy, man. The composition, I would say, maybe like you have some of them kind of doing this one, like how this one's kind of on the left, you have it almost like a lightning bolt forming, directing toward the face. And some of them are a little bit flat, like they all feel like they're kind of flatly against his head instead of coming out at the camera, kind of like they're shooting outward. And I think compositionally, if you did that with the glass and you did that with his arm here, if the arm was also coming out toward the viewer as well as the sheets of glass, you might have something. I mean, it's a really dynamic image, so this is nitpicky, but if you do that, you might have a little more perspective and like a sense of depth where it feels like he's moving in a direction. But beyond that, I don't really have that many notes about it. Like I really, so for anyone who's interested in Guy, you should check out his stuff. He sells a lot of his work at conventions. He does it like full time. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it's like
really cool style.
Yeah, it's really well. This is new for him too. He's actually been a painter for a long time, and he only recently started doing more like line art and color, like animation style. This is like a new thing for him. He's only been doing it for like less than a year.
Two small little critiques before I wrap up with this one.
Yeah.
One more shared edge tangent. The bottom of his smile with the curve of that coat lapel. It's sharing that edge. And then the last thing, which I think will make the whole piece pop. The area of highest contrast is usually where the eye goes first. And I think you should put the hand that's doing the okay deeper in shadow, and I think you should make the eye behind it catching more light to the point where put a really bright specular, as bright as the white in that shattered glass, in that eye that's in the center of the okay. And in the are his eyes red? God, I'm colorblind.
Yeah, they're red.
They are red.
Okay. Really light up the red in the iris of that eye that's inside the okay. Like have it catching like really like on fire. Like see the warmth of the rim light down in the bottom. You should bring that intensity of that red into the eye right there. Make it even brighter. Make it the most saturated, most intense red on the whole canvas. And then couple that with that being the area of highest contrast, and that will instantly make us look straight there. Yeah,
and that's a really good note. And a way that you could do that, the way that you could make the eye, like the contrast Dan's referring to, is you could have some of the glass, the light from the glass shards reflected in the ball of his eye.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be really cool.
And sorry, go on, Gigi.
I was going to make a quick point. Google Meet's telling us we got about 14 minutes before it hangs us up. Do you guys want to start the call over again, or you want to wait for it to naturally kill out?
Oh, that's actually perfect for me because I'm supposed to be out at 7:30. So that's like right when I was going to be. Yeah. And if we don't get to anybody, I would love to do this again tomorrow. If you guys are around.
Earlier in the day tomorrow works. I've got work in the afternoon.
I would do earlier too. Yeah, the evening I want to be free. So
let me know.
Right.
I'm not sure. I got a doctor's thing at 4, but either way, let me know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Probably be earlier than that.
Yeah. It would probably be around like 1 or 2. But okay, are we? Did anyone else want to say anything more about this beautiful piece here?
No, guys, check out Guy. He's like really good and deserving of some follows. As a professional, he should be getting some gigs.
And if you're interested in hearing Guy's outrageous accent, check out the episode of The Big Draw where he comes on and chats with me.
I'm interested.
It's
Um,
it's a
so do we want to do one more person before moving on, or what do you guys think?
yeah.
How you
Let's.
feeling?
I got time for one more at least.
Let's do it.
Let's see. Who do we want? We got Guy here. We got. This is a good one. This one is from Broken Blade.
Yes.
It's one of the pages he submitted. It's actually of the pages he sent. It's the black and white sequential one with the guy with the dreads. It's in the Discord. Do you have it?
I've got it.
Okay.
Here, Dan, I'm going to send it to you too.
Is his name a reference to Narsil?
That's a great question. He can answer that. I just assume it's his confirmation name.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I just assume they named him that.
That's very good.
A bit of nominative
Oh, we got a
predetermination.
page. We got a okay.
Yeah.
We're taking a whole narrative page.
Yeah. Broken Blade is big into comics, and is this so? Broken Blade, I think, from what I gathered, this is something you drew after the notes I gave you like a few weeks ago when we had our chat. So he's had a kind of a nice little leap in his work recently, because he was kind of like doing, his drawing style. If you look at it, it's got like a nice kind of loose cartoony feel to it.
Yeah.
And but then his inking style was like really thin and scratchy at some points. And I told him, I was like, this was my note at the time. I said, if you feel like you're not getting what you want out of it, consider doing like thicker, blockier shadows to go with your drawing style, because it just seems to fit better with what you're going for. I was like, if you enjoy that, like if it's something you don't want to do, don't do it. But so he tried it out with one of his pages, and he was like, I think from what I remember, BB, you said it felt really good to do that. And then this looks like this is you kind of building off of that. Like you got some nice like Mignola style shadows here. Where you're really letting the black take up a lot of space on the page. I really, really like this. I think the way you're using the ink to tell a story, it looks like one of my notes is right here. You have a tendency to keep this guy's eyebrows bright, like they're not filled in black. And I don't know if that's a choice you're making because of what it's going to look like in color, or if it's like an afterthought. But as a result, when I look at this panel, I think it's 1, 2, 3, panel 4, where it's a close-up of his eyes, it reads as a different person to me. It looks like it's a close-up of some white guy. And it doesn't read as being this black character that you have. And I think it's because you made the eyes and the eyebrows really bright. And it also, from a facial standpoint, like he looks younger in these other images. And then on the close-up, you have these lines under his eyes, which kind of communicate like an older face. It looks a lot like what I see in the mirror, of a haggard man looking down the barrel at 40.
The self-deprecation. God.
No, it's actually it's kind of a humble brag, because I'm like a hard-boiled detective.
There you
I'm
go.
understated and
Oh,
sexy.
that's right. You're getting into like Dashiell Hammett and whatever recently, right?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of McConaughey staring off into the fields.
Thank God.
While we catch this killer. So those are my initial notes. I think even like looking, if I close up here on this guy's face in the bottom panel, you've got these like, you're doing this cross hatching, but I think I'm going to lean into the notes I gave you last time a little more, is that when you do the cross hatching, take your time, because you're doing this kind of fast version of it where it looks like you're treating it almost like a pencil. And the difference between a pen and a pencil, I think, is that with a pen, the lines are like, there's a sense of finality, and it doesn't have to look a certain way. But if you do it this way, like the scratchiness, it doesn't blend the same way a pencil does, where it kind of like over time forms this like smooth tone.
Yeah.
So like, and you've got this nice blocky inking style here that I actually think it's good to do these lines. I think it's fine. But if you're going to hatch, take your time, don't rush it, and think about where you're putting every line, because with this type of style, every line you put is communicating. It's like a word in a sentence. It's like, if there's too many words in a sentence, it loses its meaning.
You see the other arm, the bounce light, how he did the rendering of the light he like hatched in some white.
Yeah, I love that.
Like that's the thickness you should go for, and you shouldn't go really below that. Like there's a reason, like if you're looking at Mike Mignola, there's a reason he doesn't do little dainty cross-hatching lines with big blocky woodblock black style.
Yeah.
Like the two things, the visual language of the two things don't gel super well. Like if you're going to do big, thick, black shadows, you should have, if you're going to hatch, you should have very confident, thicker lines, and they should
Very
be
deliberate.
Yeah.
very deliberate, very selective.
I'm gonna ask a question to the panel for Dan and Gigi. Do you think he even needs these little lines that he has?
No.
I don't think they're necessary.
Not needed at all.
I was actually going to suggest, Blade, if you ever get a chance to look at the Batman Adventure comics that were in tandem with the Batman the Animated Series, a lot of the artists that they choose for it are reminiscent of Bruce Timm, where they're friendly with his style or whatever. And basically, when it comes to line work, you are giving permission to every line that you put down. Lines are detail is contrast, right? So, or value, actually. So if you are setting up something in the background, you have to give it permission to a certain degree of thickness or amount or closeness that is different than the permission of things closer. And it's the same with your character. If you want that character to pop out and you want to do that thing that you see in a lot of animation and everything where the background is highly detailed but the characters are not, then you need to relinquish control over the background but be very deliberate and careful with your character. That second panel where you see him from the side with his arms up and these things coming out of his shoulders and everything is the clearest one you have between each of your panels because you've got such big areas of spot black and big areas of white. And there's a lot of tangents. There's some extra little things in there I'd love to point out. If you want to talk to me at some point for a longer thing, I'd love to do that with you if you need. But it looks like you're kind of finding that balance and you're fighting off that need to render. And so the more you step away from that and you rely on the lines to do their job, clarity is king, and you are in control of the king. You're the vizier. Just telling him what to do.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look, I mean, there's a little bit of a delay in the stream, but I'm getting rid of some of these like fidget lines you have here, and I'm just focusing on the big black lines you have, and it's already like the strength of your drawing is coming through more because you're drawing, and there's ways, and this is like, okay, so this is going to get some, and I know that Gigi probably experiences this too because she draws a lot of comics and stuff, but like when you're communicating weight and shadow, simply a slightly thicker line on one side of his face versus another is like enough sometimes. Like right here, like the way that you have his face, right? So this is how you had it before. You had it flat, and then you were doing those this type of line to communicate shadow. But all you really need with this drawing style is just an elegant like that to make the to communicate that the shadow is on, or that the light is coming from like maybe this side on the right coming into the left. Although it actually looks more like you're doing an overhead, so I see why the struggle was there. So then you can even do something with a nostril where you're just like kind of having the line get a little thicker right at the base where it meets the muzzle. And in general, I don't think you need these. I mean, like what she just said, she said it's the clearest in this panel. It's clear, and like because it's clear, it's much more attractive because in this drawing style that you're going for, the clarity and the like visual interest, they kind of go hand in hand. It's like a really good artist that I would recommend. I mean, she's talking about Bruce Timm. I think Bruce Timm is a great way to look at this. But also, there's people working right now, and I actually just sent it to Dan the other day. I sent Chris Samney, who's working on like Batman and Robin Year One right now, which also, by the way, guys, is a great freaking book. It's really well written. The art is beautiful. He does the whole thing with just like a black marker, and it's just like the drawing style you're going for, BB. If you keep pushing this like elegance, Chris Samney is like, he's at the end of the road of that, where it's like he's mastered it to such a degree that like he can have a beautiful panel where the whole thing is like 10 lines. It's insane. So I would say look at that because it's going to help you shed this idea that you have to have all these lines everywhere, because you really don't have to. There's no rules. It's like if you're communicating shadow really well with these nice block shadows with what we call spot blacking, like you don't need to have the hatching. Like I'm looking at this arm you have up here. If you remove those lines and then you just give it like instead like one simple line like that, boom, like that's it. That's all you really need to communicate that muscle is there. You don't need to have you don't need to have like these things that end up being distractions. You know what I mean? But
definitely.
Any other notes anybody has?
Wow.
Strength. I got two things. So strength, big strength. The best panel on the page, like Rose Girl's talking about, is the one in the middle with his hands up. I think the best drawn thing on the page is that face and profile with the shape of the shadow with the rim light showing the contour of the face being caught there. Like that is something you might want to carry forward and try to achieve in future pages. Like that's a really solid balance of the drawing is confident, the proportions and the anatomy are there. There's just enough information to know what's going on. We can see the character and know what they look like, even though they're in shadow. Like that's all very well executed. Not to be a broken record with the other critiques, but if we look at the very top panel, shared edge tangents are a dangerous thing. And the reason they're a dangerous thing is because the human eye plugs information together and creates things out of nothing. It's the reason we see faces in nature when there are no faces there, because our brains are pattern recognizers. It's the reason we look at stars and we see constellations. That center gun at first read looks like a pair of pants.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize, I'm not trying to be saucy. I didn't realize that was a gun until Dan just pointed that out.
Yes.
I actually thought he was in front of like a subway, one of those things, the subway we put your card in.
This is why shared edge tangents are so rough, because it's lining up perfectly with his body, and because of the way the value structure is laid out on the page, we automatically see it as something that isn't the gun because it's occupying the space of that character, and the only information we have is where things are drawn and the values of black and white. We don't have color to know, oh, it's the same color as the other guns, it's probably a gun. We don't have texture to know, oh, it's the same texture as it's probably metal. All we have is black, white, and the way that you position things. So when it's right there and it's sharing those edges and it has vertical lines that kind of maybe could look like pants, and it's got the value, the darker value, like it just feels like it's part of that character and not a separate element. Certainly not an element that's in the foreground.
Yeah.
Easy way to fix it, move it to one side or the other. But also the guns in general, they're drawn well, but I don't feel like there's enough of them. I feel like tension on the trigger, like if the hands were slightly in frame and we could feel the fingers on the trigger about to shoot, I feel like you'd be in a better spot. It would push them into the frame more, and it would make it feel more threatening, almost like arrows coming at the character.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I think a good note, a good reference would be the John Wick poster where he's standing in the middle and like 100 guns are facing him. Especially because it looks like you're trying to insinuate that this guy has some kind of powers. And so if you want to set up a situation where it's like even somebody with powers is sort of outgunned, you really want to make it feel like the world is coming at him, you know?
Yes.
But it's funny, I never comment on tangents because I'm guilty of them. So like my eye for tangents is shockingly bad. Like I often don't realize when there's a tangent until after I've finished a piece, and then I'm like, well, now I have to paint my way out of this. So it's funny that Dan's picking up on all these tangents and I don't even see them. Oh no, did I lose you guys? Did the chat end? Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna get ready to go. We're gonna pick this up tomorrow. And sorry, sorry that it ended so abruptly. That's really annoying. But hopefully, Gigi and I can do this again tomorrow. Hopefully, Dan can join us. Okay, guys, we'll come back and we'll do more of these. I'm enjoying this. I hope you guys send us more work. You have an opportunity to send more. Okay. All right. You have a good one, guys, and